Okay, Rosa, thank you very much for your time. Mike, thank you very much for your time for agreeing to this short interview about your experience on the whole process about getting a property in Mexico. So, if you please, can you start to introduce yourself to our fellas in the video?
Okay, I am Rosa, and this is my husband Michael. We're from Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, and how long have you been visiting Playa del Carmen before, like before you having a property here?
I'd say 20 years.
20 years.
About 20
And you
years.
were coming like very often, like once a year or so for vacation?
It was more like 5 years, every 5 years or so.
Okay.
Michael more so than me, and we started coming, and we fell in love with it.
Okay. What's the part that you fell in love with Playa?
Oh, the people.
Okay.
You know, the energy. We
Okay.
love the beach. We love all the nightlife that Playa has to offer.
Okay.
So we just felt like this would be a good place for us.
Nice. And at what point did you decided to start to look for a property to invest?
I think it had to do with COVID.
Okay.
When COVID hit, we saw the prices go down just a tad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I suggested to Michael that this would be the good time to invest because we've always wanted to live here. That was his lifelong dream, to live in Playa. And so we started looking on the internet and
Okay.
trying to find properties.
And how was that first step? I mean, you just look like online on Google and then it drives you to where? And how did you get to get your ideal property? I mean,
I think we did. We started on Google search and just said, you know, Playa properties for sale. And so, of course, when you click on that, it brings everybody. And there was a wide variety, but we weren't really sure location-wise. And we just had to really sift through everything to try to get the right property.
okay. Which websites were you looking at when you were just clicking on Google?
Just
or-
Google, and then there were several realtors that would pop up.
Uh-huh.
And so I would make inquiries with the realtors, but a lot of them just seemed very pushy.
Okay.
And I didn't like that.
Like with so many realtors, do you had conversation like before with me?
How many?
Yeah,
Oh, at least a dozen.
a dozen.
Yeah, thereabouts.
All of them like different companies and all of them to offer different like projects or
Right.
alternatives, right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
And why did you pick me at the end?
There was something about you. You were not high pressure, which
Okay.
is something I did not want to deal with. I know Mexican realtors and salespeople tend to be really pushy, and I appreciated your knowledge. You were not pushy at all. You were very knowledgeable in the areas and in the amenities and the builders. You had a lot of knowledge in the different developers that were in the area. So I like that about you.
Okay. And I have one question because I have to say that when I first met you, you were with your friends, and the first inquiry that I have from you is like $1,000 budget for a 2-bedroom house,
Right.
and we were like looking for options in that price range,
Correct.
and not all of them was something that you like,
Right. Right.
So I remember telling you that we have to go to see those options that are
First.
actually the price range that you're looking, and then you decided you want to jump to some other options or keep in that range.
Correct.
But at what point that do you guys decide that I'm the one who is going to lead your trip, the journey to get this property for you? Because as you said, you were looking for different options. You were talking with other realtors as well. At what point do you say, okay, it's going to be Jose that is going to teach us about the market, is going to teach us about the options that we have? At what point was it?
I would say it was like in the first few that we saw, and I had picked out several that I wanted to see according to the website, and you took us to the locations, and you were like, this is not a good area, this is not a good developer, you know, they're not well funded. So I think at that point, it was like, okay, you know what? He's really looking out for us. He's got our best interest at heart, and so I just decided to stay with you.
Perfect.
And we canceled all the other realtors that we were going to meet with, and we just said, no, we're staying with Jose Luis.
Perfect. Yes, because some things that I have to tell you guys is that we're looking for a $100,000 property, 2-bedroom downtown, which is impossible to get.
Yes.
So it was like I think this was a 3-day trip.
Right.
Like to housing tours and go to different neighborhoods and
Right.
take different location and all that, till you decided then to take another opportunity in the market. Because something that I remember from you was like the location was very important for you.
Correct.
As your first investment.
Correct.
And then you decided instead to go to a 2-bedroom, $100,000 2-bedroom unit. You ended up buying $150,000 studio.
Correct.
Why?
It had everything to do with, number one, your presentation of the company that we chose. Can I say the name?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we chose Manesse because you explained everything about Manesse, how well funded they were, how many developments they already had created in the area. And so we chose to stay with that. And some of the other properties that we saw just were not quality. And as soon as we saw Manesse, the quality was right there. It was really
You can feel it, you
evident.
can
Yeah,
see it.
you could see the quality of the workmanship and the different, you know, structures, the different aesthetics. Everything was just really nice. And so at that point, we decided to stay with Manesse and up our budget a lot. And so we just decided to stay there and just look for different avenues.
Perfect. Then I remember you put an offer in pre-sale that is going
Correct.
to be ready in 2 years. It's projected to be ready next
3
year.
years,
Yeah,
right,
next year.
right.
So you put an offer there, but there has an opportunity that a studio got free that you can jump in with only 6 months waiting list.
Correct.
And you did. So how was at this point, how hard or how easy was to change the studio, the project, even though there's the same developer, just to change it because you were buying basically on floor plans.
Right, right.
And then you change the schedule payments, you change the delivery times and everything. But at the end, you were basically getting the same studio.
Right.
But how difficult or how fast or how easy was for you like to make that decision that you changed your mind?
The decision was made when you told me the location.
Okay.
Because yes, we were looking into something that was further from
Delivery.
further from Fifth Avenue. And so when you said the location was on Fifth Avenue and 14th, I'm like, oh wow, that's prime location, take it. So even though it was sight unseen, we just felt good because of the location and of the Manesse name that was building that building. So we just felt comfortable with that.
Okay. So now, in your opinion, in your experience by buying a property in the United States and here in Mexico, what would you say is better here, the process of getting a property in Mexico, and what would you say is worse compared to the U.S.?
Well, I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's different. It's very
Okay.
different. The process in the deed signing is totally different from what we do when we purchased Manesse. We had the keys to the condo when we were
first.
supposed to close.
Yeah.
And we've been able to use the condo up until about 2 weeks ago. It wasn't deeded. So that's kind of strange for us. When we buy properties in the United States, you do the closing, you get the deed, you get everything right away. Well, here you have to wait to get the deed. So that was a little scary, wondering, well, are they going to give us the deed or are they not?
Okay.
But everything has turned out really well. I
Okay.
mean, it has taken a long time. It's taken about a year to
Yeah.
get the deed signing, but everything's been fine.
Okay, yeah, that usually happens on pre-sales. There's a thing that we call condominium regime that
Correct.
it's a government procedure. It could take time, but for example, in this house in Palmara, everything was set
Correct.
to be to do the deed and everything at once.
Right.
So in that process, it was pretty much the same as United States, right?
Yes, yes,
all
it
the
was a
deeds
very
ready,
fast.
not really fast.
Yes, it was
Perfect.
very quick. When we purchased the Palmyra house, we did the closing immediately. There wasn't a stack of papers that we had to sign. It was just a little stack.
Yeah.
But then it took 6 months to get the deed back in my hand, but everything went very smooth. I was very surprised. I was very scared, but everything has been very smooth.
So something else. It's about your taxes. You already paid taxes, right? On your
Correct.
property in
Yes.
Mexico. How was your surprise about it? I mean,
Very low. Yeah, we were very shocked knowing the taxes were going to be, I think the first 6 months they were 436 pesos. And then for 2023 they were 7,600 pesos. So that was a nice surprise.
and that's the only tax that you pay here in Mexico. I'm talking about property. We don't
Correct.
have like
State
any other,
tax and all that,
yeah, any
yeah.
other kind of taxes
Right.
that you probably do in the States. So yeah, it's
Correct.
another good thing. I think it was shocking for you notice or realizing that in Mexico we don't have an MLS.
Yes.
So how hard was it to get into the options, and how did you find yourself working or trying to see all the market? Because here in Mexico what happens is that every realtor can put any advertising or any development, and you go online and you have the same house
Correct.
20 or 30 times,
Correct.
different prices, different descriptions or whatever.
Yes.
How hard was for you to understand that we don't have an MLS here?
It wasn't hard to understand, but it was very frustrating.
can tell.
And yes, we would look online and it would show the house over and over again, but then it would be different pricing, different locations, and so it was very misleading. So I think an MLS system would be fantastic
Me too.
because it would give you all the information like we do in the States. We can go onto any website and we can look and see what's really available. Yes. But here it was a very frustrating process. And I would look through thousands of houses and then it's like, well, is it real or is it just a fake one? And I would call you and say, hey, Jose Luis, is this real? And you would say, no, it's not, or yes, it is. So
Yeah,
yes.
because I remember when we started to have this trust between us, you started sending me options.
Correct.
Like, Jose, I saw this ad on Point to Homes or
Right.
Facebook, whatever. And then I told you about, okay, the location is wrong, the price is not right, the
Correct.
description is not wrong, it's not right, and all that. And it's because of that, right? Everyone can just upload and put whatever.
Right.
It's whatever they
We
want.
call it
or
fish
they-
and bait.
Yes. I don't really like to do that because it's just to keep your attention
Correct.
and try to pursue it in that way, and I don't really like it. After you get the studio, you were starting looking for a second investment, right? And we were looking for maybe Tulum or Puerto Morelos, maybe, but you ended up buying this house actually. How are you doing with because you kept the studio for business purposes, right? You have your property management, they do the rentals and all that. First of all, how good is it? How is going on? Because you have this studio for a year and a half, more or less, doing the rentals and all that. How is the business going for the studio?
Yeah, it's gone pretty good. We're making money every month, and we selected a management company that's on Airbnb.
Okay.
And so they advertise a lot, and they get renters almost every night for a very good price. And so we pay them a commission, but still they bring in money for us. And after paying all the bills, we come out ahead.
Okay.
And so we're very happy with them, and we haven't had any problems so far.
And they took care of everything, right?
Yeah, they-
tenants and cleanings and everything.
They take care of everything. They pay all the bills,
Okay.
and they take care of the cleaning, and they pay commission to the salespeople
Okay.
that get the renters. And so we're very happy with how it's going with the management company.
Perfect. Perfect. And just to finish this interview, what was your biggest fear about making an investment outside United States, and specific in Mexico? Because you have a family in Mexico, but you basically never lived in Mexico before, so it was very new for you as well. So which one is which one was your biggest fear for doing this big step for you?
Well, I mean, it's a new horizon, something we've never done before. So we just read up and looked at all the information we could, and we had good advice from you, and the process went smooth, and it turned out good for us. In the end, we have no complaints about our purchases in Mexico.
Perfect, perfect. So thank you very much for your time. It's all for me. And unless you have something else to say, it's all for me. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And we're going to stay tuned for more.